I assume that you're ready?
Yeah.
Alright. Hey everyone, welcome to Granblue Radio. This is episode number 249. I titled this one Cuckoo for Cucu Puffs, just because I wanted to say that, because we've been waiting a long time for her to get another character. Like,
Yeah, it's been a while. Since
what
like
was it, 2018, 2017? Was it 17?
2018 was the event.
2018 was Make Up and Go? Jeez.
It's been a while.
Yeah, and then it was 2018 for SSR Cucouroux. So a little over 3 years since we've gotten Cucouroux content. So fun character. But first, speaking of fun, we're gonna now that all of Gin Tama is out, we're gonna talk about this one a little bit. So, um, I actually haven't played the second half all the way yet,
Oh.
but I have not. However, like pretty much everybody's been happy with the Gin Tama collab, which is nice.
I mean, it's Gin Tama.
It's Gin Tama. I don't know if they're
It makes fun of
allowed.
itself. It makes fun of Granblue. It makes fun of everything else too.
It makes fun of its own actors. It makes fun of its own magazine. It's ready to just take the piss out of everyone. All right. So do you want to start with the characters from this collab, or do you want to start with the summon from this collab?
Let's start with the summon because it's the shortest thing to talk about.
All right. So um, the summon for Gintama was basically the only way they could get this in. It probably the freaking Captain Harlock joke from
Captain
Gintama.
Katsura.
Captain Katsura. And so, I would say this is a little bit worse than the Giyu summon, but still very good for beginners, and it's super easy to get. So there you go. Um,
It comes
it's
with 3-star.
it comes at 3 star. It's not that hard to 4 star, um, and at 4 stars, so it's one of those every element summons where you can just say if you're just starting out and you don't really have teams that match each other, you can just throw this in here, and it's 50% attack to everything. It boosts your CA damage. You get some HP. Just like very easy stuff. And then for some reason, they only buff Gintoki, like the Yorozuya only.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
They don't actually buff the Shinsengumi. Well, they're not friends in the anime, but still. So Yorozuya gets Veil, 3 turns of attack, and 1 turn of guaranteed triple attacks if you have Captain Katsura in your sub.
I mean,
Uh,
that's cool. Veil's always nice.
Veil is nice. And given the fact that you have sub summon slots before you have like very many summons at all, like sub summons are kind of an advanced thing. You start running out of sub slots when you've started making all of your Arcarum summons here. When you're just starting out, it's like you know what, you might as well throw that in there as a free like sub summon. So yeah, because the sub summon slot exists, I mean it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um. Anyway, the summon animation is also just really fun.
I actually haven't watched it yet. I'll watch it later.
It's fun. Like it's the most basic version of the joke. So it's just uh, Katsura pointing at the screen. It's like I'm not Zura, I'm Captain Katsura, and then Elizabeth just chucks bombs.
I mean, they did that entire joke in the story too. So
Yeah, it's good. All right, so let's go talk about the characters. Uh,
I'm really glad that they started making co-op characters actually pretty good.
oh, gee, are you gonna talk about the Card Captor Sakura?
I'm still mad about that.
Because, I mean, alright, let's take a look at the history of SSR characters right now. So, this all got started because of Token Ranbu. And before Token Ranbu, every collab character was an SR. And they only did this treatment to Gigi because Gigi here, Munechika, was an SSR. He was the first SSR, I think, of Token Ranbu. So they were like, in order to be true to the lore and the fan expectations of Token Ranbu, we've got to make this guy an SSR. And when you look back at GG, he's beginners only. Like, he is basically like a slightly higher statted SR Catalina for story.
Yeah.
Then the next one after that is Cardcaptor Sakura, who is one of the worst SSRs in the game.
Can't attack. Only has one move that will actually do any damage, and her CA might bind them for a
Mm-hmm.
turn.
Then you got Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan led to some really funny things. Remember when people read Levi's skill that said sharp boost to attack? And it actually doesn't, like, super uncap him? This is not actually the assassin skill, so, yeah.
But hey, triple attacking all the time is always nice.
Mm-hmm. Then you got Conan. Conan's not very good.
But we have Toru.
Yeah, as an SR.
Yeah.
Then we have this. So this is about where things like really are amped up because we talk about this a lot. Joker changed how the game is made.
Joker's also really good.
Joker also is good on his own. It's true. Like Joker, Joker's Tokachev is actually very good in the modern way that you build Dark. It's just he has a lot of free hits. The problem, of course, is that he runs out of ammo. But don't worry about that. Maybe they'll have a Persona 5 Royal collab, and he'll be able to reload his gun. DJ,
That won't happen. It's a little bit late on that.
maybe,
By like a year and a half.
maybe. And then then we got a bunch of Love Lives. We've got the Precures, and it's like we've been on an upward slope since, like an upward trajectory. And so now,
Yep.
like, I think I told you that I use Bobo to do all sorts of just fun things in like Proving Grounds and like this character is fun as hell. And that was the previous collab SSR, and now we move from jump to jump to jump.
Oh
Right.
yeah. It literally is 3 jumps in a row.
It is 3 jumps in a row. They're going big since it was like 3 of the bigger names of Shonen Jump to go from Kimetsu no Yaiba to, well, okay, I wouldn't call Bobo a big name, just
But I remember it as a child.
yeah,
So
and then another big name in Gin Tama. And so let's still talk about the Shinsengumi because they unlocked first. So
yeah, we got them first. They made fun about that joke the entire time in the story too.
yeah, it's like, wait, we're the main characters. Why did we have to wait 5 days? So the Shinsengumi, their gun katana, which I think is a new combo.
More than likely, yeah.
It's pretty fun. People keep joking that Kane should be gun katana, but he isn't. Anyway, let's go. What do you think is the most important part of their kit?
Everything except skill 4.
Yeah, all right. So we'll start from the beginning then. There's nothing to zoom to and just like stare at because that'll happen a lot tonight. Is that we're just gonna zoom in and go, okay, so this is the important part. And we're gonna have to explain this. All right. So their CA, live by the sword, die by the sword. It ends the cooldown on 2 skills. They're not linked skills.
That's kind of wild.
It's not 2 skills. It's not like a linked skill. It's 2 different skills. And also, one of them gives them 30 meter. So when they CA, they hit a button that brings them 30% of the way to the next one.
Yep.
And then the Muramasha thing, it's a pretty standard nuke into self-buff.
I mean, that self buff goes at 50% unique.
Mm-hmm.
Undispellable.
Mm-hmm. And then there's...
And 4 hits. 4 hits is always nice.
True. 4 hits, 1 hit. But 4 hits a lot of times. So, let's talk about Just Away. Because, one, Just Away has a lot of layers to the joke. Because it started in Gin Tama, it became a racehorse, and now people keep pressuring Sai Games to make Just Away an Uma Musume, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's pretty interesting there. Anyway, the thing about this is that it's got a 7-turn cooldown for a pretty average nuke.
635k, yeah.
Um, it has 2 turns of local blind, which is the one that is much more likely to hit. But
That's actually less correct because they're both this base accuracy of the same.
it's the more likely to hit because local paralyze has a much higher ramp up on the debuff resistance.
That's true.
And so,
Also
the
2 turns.
first against most enemies that you're fighting when you're a beginner, then this can't attack is going to be amazing. It'll hit once, then it'll be pretty questionable if it'll ever hit again. And then the 2 turns of blind, like the second time you hit this thing, 7 turns later, then that'll.
I mean, you're better off just bringing normal blind at that point.
Yeah. And so that's the thing about this. This is like the. It's kind of the beginner classic, where it's like, as soon as you get out of the mid game where this can attack stops working, then this thing is kind of blank, and you're just like, oh, and you just, you know, until then it does great. Like paralyze is a perfectly good thing to be doing. It's extendable by Frau in the late game when you get to the
There's,
part where you get Frau.
there's also only one other source in fire that I can think of off the top of my head, and it's a limited character.
It's Ilsa. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah. Um, I'm looking forward to Proving Grounds. Not Proving Grounds. Tower of Babel videos that involve using the Shinsengumi to paralyze, and then swapping to Frau, and you get 5 turns of paralyze off of that. And then you hit Keelan, and you get 7 turns of paralyze. It just goes on and on. It's got to be fun.
I was surprised that they gave him the supplemental skill damage EMP.
They have a supplemental skill damage EMP. Hold on.
But you didn't see that?
Oh, I see. Hold on. Let me take that real
Yeah,
quick.
that's why I was talking about the 4.
4 hits, huh? All right.
30k supplemental damage.
That's pretty good. And then the
Yeah.
Hijikata special is just one of those things where it's like, look at the cooldown on this thing.
I mean, you're eating mayonnaise.
It's a full heal to self, full debuff removal, but then also uh, loses debuff resistance. So it's kind of a personal monkey button. It's like it's a decent thing to have as an emergency, but it's like a lot of the time you're gonna forget it's there. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, I haven't even done this quest because I didn't need to.
hmm All right, and then there's supports, so they always at least multi-attack. And then they have the I can't remember who else has this passive where they get attack and CA damage up based on how many people are in the front line.
I do not know the answer to this, but they get 5% perpetuity mod attack for each other character and 15% CA damage up per character.
That much CA damage up is a huge amount when you're not actually hitting the cap yet. Like, it is very noticeable. Yeah. And then, so this is the one that's interesting to me. So you're under arrest. They actually have a back to front passive, and it gives them full meter on switching to front. Which means that when they come back to front, you get to hit Curse Blade Muramasha, you get to hit the Shinsengumi Bazooka, and then you get to CA and then do it again.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a nice little burst thing. Like, there are some characters that I pack in the back just to in full auto finish the job. Like Wind Noish, for example, just comes in and blasts like 20 million of nukes, and then it's like, well, hopefully that finished it. And so these characters can do that too.
Yeah, I do like that. Fire just keeps bringing nukers out, and they just keep making more and more strong each time.
Yeah, this one, isn't going to be super amazing or anything like that, but they're flavorful, they're fun, and yeah, I mean, if you're getting into the game because of them, they are very usable for a long time. And then they'll be put away with the rest of the toolbox, and sometimes you'll bring them out and paralyze something for like 8 turns or whatever. So yeah, I like where they landed.
I'm using them because supplemental damage. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here comes Gintoki and Shinpachi and Kagura. So this one I'm a little like I'm still a little weirded out by, just in terms of like they do a little bit of everything, but all right, let I'm going to just narrow things down right now. I'm only comparing them to the 8 other light SSRs that we've gotten from collabs.
Okay.
Specifically, I'm going to compare them to Bobo, who can dispel with the power of teamwork, and gets like crazy good supplemental damage stuff going with the fistful of armpit hair. Gets to buff allies, gets a nuke after CA, and gets a stacking up to 8 buff on things that raises their attack, etc., etc. And then they have like a when you're in the red, he goes to Bobo goes to max HP. The debuffs all go away. You're at 8 wig out, which means that fistful of armpit hair does all sets. Does like all 21 hits. So there's a whole lot that's packed into Bobo. I love this character. All right. So now we go to Gintoki, and the first thing we have to explain is that everything has to be put in the context of Gin Tama. So Gin Tama is a unique buff. It has essentially a counter, a hidden counter, and it's kind of done like I'd say that it's like the chicken buff, right? Where the chicken buff tells you how far along it's gotten by showing you a chicken with stars, or is it drum with stars?
The drum with stars.
Yeah.
I believe.
And so the first time they start at 0 unless they came from the back, and every time they press a button, or attack, or are on the receiving end of a yellow button, or are on the receiving end of a green button, then this number goes up. The hidden number goes up to 20. Each of those actions gives them 1. I think taking damage also gives them Gin Tama.
Taking damage needs to be verified if it's per hit or just taking damage in general.
Okay, so they do take damage. So taking damage gives them some, but we don't know how much. All right. So, this is one of those things that's just they're meant to be on the front line for a really long time before they can go to maximum Tama, right? And if they go back to front, then they start at 10 out of 20, so it accelerates them a lot. And so, what are their attack specs that they get based on the brightness of the Tama?
All right, so attack on perpetuity mod goes by 10%. CA damage goes up to 10%. There's unknown numbers on DATA for level 1 and level 2, but level 3 is it's 100% DA and 30% TA.
130? Okay, those are pretty standard numbers. The unique attack up being that low for that much work is a little odd given what we just looked at with the Shinsengumi, which goes up to 50. But anyway, the other thing about the Gin Tama thing though is the skill 1 goes wild at max. So they always get a substitute. They always get a defense boost. Is it 50% for defense boost?
80.
80%. It's not that much, honestly. Then at level 1, so if you've pressed at least one button, then they get jammed. At 10 or level 2, then they get 3 turns of chaser. 3 turns of chaser, which is
50% chaser.
50%'s not bad. It's quite good actually. And
That's
then they get
really good.
and then they get undying at the 3rd level. So at the 3rd level, this substitute is actually really good.
Undying one-time use, and that's pretty good.
Yeah. So you can use it on things that do, like pure damage. You can use it on Sirius and Ultimate Bahamut, for example. That's something that you cannot use SR Nicholas on, because SR Nicholas is one of the like classic. This guy has one job and he does it really well, guys.
As did I.
Well, he didn't. If it was against old Cerberus, then he did not die. He dodged it all and then countered. Against something like Sirius, he would eat it all and then die. So, it's like it was something that got replaced by like Pecorine eating everything and then dying. But anyway, this skill's pretty good. And then it's on a short cooldown,
5 turns, yeah.
so that's pretty good. And then they've got Gravity, so that's useful
It's
because
always useful.
in light, Gravity's on like the maids, and I think that's it.
Let's see here. The Maids, Holiday Lily, and SR Philosophia.
Right. So a Christmas unit, the maids, and then an SR. So it's a nice tool to have. I sometimes pull out Callan in order to get Gravity and Fire, and then we've got another attack up, defense up, stacking thing on a short cooldown for
No.
4 hits of light damage.
It's down. You said up.
Oh, it's stacking debuff. It's a stacking debuff. Might be. This is useful.
And
Both of these are useful.
the other instances in Light that has this. Halcyon and Halloween.
Valentine's Aglavale.
Holiday Matera.
So we're listing off a whole bunch of limited characters, is what we're saying.
Credit Card Zoe. And then everyone's favorites, Sakura Kinomoto.
So remember, by the way, doesn't Credit Card Zoe only do one of them at random?
Correct.
Ugh. Jeez. So yeah, this is nice. It's not gonna do the job on its own. And then yeah, the other benefit.
If you put things also in perspective of a newcomer, this will get you to max defense down with this Miserable Mist.
Yeah, it'll get there eventually.
And there's only 5 turn cooldown. It's not that long.
And then the like pièce de résistance, the actual reason for you to get to Gin Tama 3, you have everybody gets full meter. No recast, but that's your reward for getting Gin Tama on the field and surviving to the point where he's like taken enough game actions to hit max radiance, max Gin Tama. And I'll be honest with you, I think I might still just prefer using Bobo. Even but anyway, why not use both? They're fun. This is fun. Like, it's one of those things that it's a small, satisfying reward for just continuing to play the game, for just being in the fight for a little while. And then yeah, so it's like Gravity here, Dispel here. Do the maids also dispel? I feel like they do.
Wait, there's a Dispel somewhere?
Yeah, it's on their CA. For Eurozia.
Ah, you remove one buff. Yeah. Removing a buff's always good.
Yeah, do the maids dispel? I'm gonna look this up real quick. Yes. Dorothy skill 3.
Yes. I'm about to say, isn't it a specific maid?
Yeah, it's Dorothy skill 3 that so they're easily comparable to a solid light SSR, and that's where they landed. I'm okay with that. Like, they don't really have a way to boost their own meter. They like just do a little of everything. Kind of like, they do odd jobs. Imagine that.
They're all right. I like them.
Yep. And for certain segments of the GBF population, the fact that you can now have 3 Sugitas talking to each other on the front line is not to be missed. So I have seen multiple Drang Paris Eorosia teams out there.
I forget that Paris exists. Let's be
So do
honest.
I, but he's there. It happens. All right, are we good on this?
Yep.
All right. Now let's talk about. So we were talking a lot about like comparing these guys to jobs that mostly limited characters can do. Well, let's talk about limited characters now because we got some new ones. Um, so let's go ahead and talk about our boy, our good puppy. And so people have actually been complaining for a long time, by the way, that he has not been his own unit for a long time. Well, here he is, Halloween
Here's
Vane.
Vane.
Um, so
He's a good boy.
he is a good boy. Also, this is one of the ones where we go straight to one of his support skills and there's laser focus in on this.
Playful pranks only.
So he has a sub passive. That sub passive is 50% defense up.
That's a pretty good amount.
That's the Keim number. And you don't have to change your entire grid or the way that you play in order to get this defense up. Now, admittedly, that is approximately 20% of what Keim does with his backline passive, but that's still enough for people to look at Halloween Vane and go, I want this. It doesn't even matter necessarily what the rest of his kit is. It's kind of like, what does Hasalia's defense number go to? Does it max out at 50%? Because, I mean, that's why I have Hasalia in my backline in all hard content.
It goes
Nope.
up to 40%.
It goes up to 40% and it takes 20 turns to get there. Hold on, let me just... I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay.
At least he is not in water or earth.
Yeah, this is true.
Where if he was in neither of those, he'd be out of less of a job.
I might actually use him over Hasalia, I'll be honest with you.
The stacking attack is kind of nice still, too. And also, when she comes in, double casting her delays.
Yeah, her debuff is actually really good. It's true. But anyway, so we're going to keep all of this in mind, is that most of the time people are looking at Vane as a backline passive. But honestly, as a frontline character, he's pretty damn good.
Oh, I was going to use him frontline in this upcoming United fight.
Yeah. So his one of three passives here. So we talked about the second one. The first one is also a very good passive. This is something that we've seen before on Summer Kumbira, where while he has counter, he triple attacks and has chaser.
His counter is the same as Kumbira's.
Yeah, so the only way to stop him from triple attacking is to attack him enough times that he uses up all of his counters before he gets to 100 meter again. Because, just like Summer Kumbira, he, on his CA, gets his counter ability back.
The only difference between the two of them on that one passive is that she autocasts whenever she takes turn damage.
Yeah, so and his is much more defensively minded, and he heals himself on his CA. Does she also heal herself on CA? No, she heals herself on the nuke.
On the nuke from every turn.
Yeah. All right, that out of the way.
Oh yeah, also 30% chaser, same as Kumbira.
Mm-hmm.
When you're triple attacking, nice. Mm-hmm.
Then there's Wolf Beat here. He has wind defense down, earth attack down. So
earth attack is 15%, and wind defense down is 25%.
The wind defense down adds him to the very short list of people who can actually provide wind defense down to beat one of the Galleon triggers, which is pretty funny to me. Like we're still at this point. It's one of the least important Galleon triggers, at least. And then our favorite thing, Super Vane mode, his trademark. So Super Vane mode is on a long-ass cooldown. It's on a pretty
15
long
turns, and you start with the 5-turn
lockout.
lockout.
But so his damage and damage cap for attacks and counterattacks go up.
Amplify by 30%.
It's a lot. Defense up,
300%.
which is how is that compared to Super Vane in his water version?
I'm
Water
checking
version
number.
Vane. There's too many veins. God.
Super Vane is only 100%.
So this is more defense than Super Vane in water. He gets 100% debuff resistance, so he cannot be debuffed during this buff, which Super Vane in water doesn't get. His CA damage is boosted. His damage cap on CA is boosted.
50% cap up.
Which is the exact same number as his water version. You get a chain burst buff for some reason, and chain burst cap up.
I mean, Super Vane's cool.
Super Vane is cool.
You get this upon switching in.
You get this
as
automatically on switching in, and it doesn't actually cast it. So it lasts for 5 turns. It can't be removed, and then when he comes in and he's had this for 5 turns, then you press it again once those 5 turns are up, and you get it again for another 5 turns, and then you have to wait another 15 turns. But still, you get 10 turns of this if he comes in, and when he comes in from the back, he not only gets this buff pass from automatically, he gets 3 turns of substitute and undying, and he gets 30% convert damage taken into healing, which is really,
that part only matters at the very end.
It matters when you get hit down to 1 hit point and then heal back up, like the Vazaraga classic. Who would you pair him with frontline? Whoever you want, really.
Wrestler.
Yeah, it's like just
attack out turn with triple attack and chaser.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot going on with Halloween Vane. This guy, he is mega strong. He's actually better for passive defense in the back than either of the wind evokers. Like Katsulia in the back gives you healing when you are not debuffed.
It's a really small heal too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 350 heal if you're not debuffed, and 30% attack up when you are.
Yeah.
And half the time, if you're using Katsulia, you want him in the front line, re-brought into front line ASAP anyways.
Yeah, another note that people have been looking at, because when you are going in on this character, you know exactly what you're doing in Wind, or you just want a good puppy boy. But if you get this character for his mechanics, then you know what you're in for, and what you're doing is you're doing like just higher end content. And so it actually at that point is very significant that Playful Pranks only stacks with Neon's passive also. When
yeah, her 30% defense.
Mm-hmm. So you can just get 80% defense up for having this guy in the back and Neon in front. And Neon in front is one of those things that's getting more and more common as people transcend her.
Yeah, she has a really good. Like I said back in our Transcendence video, I think she was one of the big winners, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because she went from being unused to fairly popular to use.
Yeah, I would probably put her in the top 3 out of 10 for level 150s. Probably top 2 even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this guy's good. He's real good. Go ahead.
I said I was gonna love the bone icon for Super Vane.
Super Vane's bone icon is so good. And then the other thing is, as mentioned in chat, it took us 5 years to get a Wind Halloween unit at all.
Yeah, to be fair, they only bring out like a couple of characters each year.
It's true. It's just one of those. It's one of those things we talk about a lot with like Magic the Gathering design and stuff like that too. People like patterns. Especially when they're like predictable-ish patterns, and when they see a gap, it stands out to them. But yeah, now we have a Halloween character in every element, so we did
Oh, you
it.
want to talk about his weapon too?
Let's talk about his weapon, the Creepy Claws. So,
I have this weapon maxed out because I only rolled Vane in my Spark.
Fortitude. How many weapons have Fortitude? I know the Faceless does, right?
Also the Wellness fist.
Oh yeah, the Willness Fist. So supplemental damage based on low HP. Um,
Correct.
and like Vane himself when he actually fights is probably gonna lose a bunch of HP because of the nature of his kit, where he just substitutes all the time.
Well, he doesn't
Um,
substitute all the time. He only substitute that one time.
well, when he comes in, he substitutes for 3 straight turns.
Yeah, that's about it. That's the only
Yeah,
time he substitutes though.
that's true. But having it on passively for 3 turns is a lot of time to just take a beating. Even if you do have 300% defense up, 350%, it's a lot.
300.
Okay. So anyway, this weapon's pretty cool. It's enmity and fortitude, so it's a limited willness finger. There's fun things to do with it. Although I don't think Wind has its weapon that punches you in the face at the beginning of combat yet. It's like Curry and Black Dragon Maw.
Those are the only two I can think of.
Okay.
However, I do like it having Chaser on CA.
Oh, when you upgrade it to 4 stars, it has Chaser on CA.
It's 15%, but we're summoning this damage, baby.
And so it's 15% to team or to self.
To team.
So you're saying the CA is a fist Parazonium? Got it.
Yeah, why not? Let's call
Yeah,
it that.
it seems really good. It does
Yeah,
seem really, really good.
I have it as a main hand in one of my teams.
Nice. Yeah, when it comes to wind fists, like I've been using Arcab, and Arcab is one of those things that's strangely awkward to use because it needs you to full chain to do its thing.
Yeah. Fortunately enough, this thing doesn't need full chain. It
Yeah.
has 35 DATA on CA.
And given that Dark Wind is actually a thing that already exists, where you have a dark, so this does disqualify it from being used as a wind main hand if you are using Celeste Claw main hand, because it has. Remember that thing has random. Um, let's see. Wait, is it the Celeste Claw that has the wind enmity, or is it the spear? Celeste Claw Omega has. No, it has Dark Enmity. It's the spear. The spear has wind enmity for no reason.
Look,
Anyways,
light and dark Magna was pretty suffering back then.
yeah. Anyway, so Dark, there's an entire strategy built around having a Dark main character, Summer Zoe frontline. You use Summer Zoe to conjunction your team. You use Death on turn 1 because your main character is Dark. And then you kill Zoe with Death, and then people come in, like someone comes in from the back. You can bring Vane in with that, and suddenly you have 3 characters at 1 hit point, and then you have Super Vane. And yeah, and then you go absolutely nuts because you're now at max Tranquility's Fortitude. You're at max Enmity, and if the other 2 members of that squad are, for example, Narme and Azusa, you go absolutely ham. You go nuts.
It's a pretty good team.
Yeah, it's a good weapon. So yeah, pretty cool stuff here.
I love
Pretty
the little
powerful.
damage.
Yeah. All right. So we're moving on. All right, and then the other one that we are going to be looking at is
is
Earth.
is is the character the thing that we titled this entire episode after.
Yeah, yeah. All right, where'd she go? That's Deontha. Here he is. Here she is. All right. So Cucouroux. Where do you want to start, DJ?
There's let's talk about autoloader.
All right. By the way, ASDFX Morgan reminds me that Show's fist is the one that punches you in the face at the beginning of combat. I forgot about that one, so thank you for reminding me. All right. So anyway, you said where should we speed loader?
Autoloader.
Autoloader. All right. So we've seen this 3 times before. It's deal triple attacks, and the normal attacks deal 3 hits of damage to random foes.
So what's the downside this time?
The downside is she has hostility up.
Dang, what a downside of a character who can dodge.
Yeah, like let's see. So Grimnir and Poseidon, both of those come with a meter penalty.
Like 35%.
And for Cerberus, it requires her to CA first. I think so.
Hers not technically guaranteed.
Yeah.
And then Narmea just can't get meter.
Right. Well, Narmea also doesn't do the random 3 hits, does she?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So we're talking about this as the Valentine's Grimnir passive. So yeah, that's something that has been proven strong already. So we know what to do with there. You want to go to speed loader next?
Yeah, let's go with speed loader.
So she can attack out of turn, and much like Morale and Rosette, if she has 2 resources to use, then it doesn't go on cooldown. In this case, instead of crests, it uses her own unique thing called barrel stabs,
where she can have a maximum of 5 of, and she gets it from either dodging or CAing.
Given that she gets to triple attack every turn with no meter penalty, she's going to be CAing a lot.
Yes, this is true. I had her at 5 stacks for about 6 turns sometimes. Not 6 turns, it's really like 4 turns. But
yeah, max stacks are 5, it says here, for Leave It to Cuckoo.
Yeah, she gets those. She is very often going to get those stacks unless she's paralyzed somehow.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So, do you speed loader immediately and then use it on turn 7, DJ, or do you just wait?
I just chug it through. I usually just full auto have the things nowadays.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So you'll use this on turn 1, and she'll just gain 37 meter. And then the next turn, she'll triple attack again, and then CA, and yeah, all right.
I put a video on Twitter that said turn 8 Cuckoo is amazing.
Yeah, did she just attack 3 times in a row with speed loader?
Yeah, and that was before her actual attack.
Right.
And also, don't forget that covering fire from skill 1 will trigger upon normal attacking with speed loader.
Mm-hmm.
With my current build, those covering fires to 2 million each.
How many hits is a covering fire? Is it all
6 hits?
Okay. Do you have a world ender?
Nope.
Got it. I understand.
I have a Belial, but that's not world ender now, is it?
Yeah. And then bullet dance is the other skill here. So it's another 6 hits. It gives her boost to dodge, and it gives her even more hostility up. So, how much is the boost to dodge? Is it 50? Is it less? Is it more?
70%.
70? That's a lot. That's a lot. It's a long cooldown, admittedly.
Is it? It's actually her least amount of cooldown on this in her kit.
Yeah, that's fair.
She has 3. It's only down for 3 turns.
Is it only 3 turns that it has downtime? Oh,
yes.
Because it's 3 turns up. Yeah. 3 up, 3 down. And then her CA also gives her other self whenever she CAs, and that's going to be every 3 turns or so that she gets to CA again. And then it gives her one of those barrel stabs.
Dodge roll is always nice.
Yeah. and then leave it to Cuckoo. When she does dodge, everybody gets attack and defense up, which is stackable.
This is the same. This is the same attack defense as you get from
Lumberjack?
Lumberjack.
Okay.
It goes to the same number 2 of 20%.
Mm-hmm.
However, I've said this before in different threads where the fact that is that Lumberjack also comes with giving 10% meter when it's in that mode,
Mm-hmm.
and she prevents the Lumberjack from being hit because she's taking all the hits instead.
Right.
So you ramp this up to max really quickly, but you also get a CA a lot.
Yeah, and then so, um, putting this all into context, there were comments on her when she came out that it's like, oh, this is a good character, and she has the Grimnir passive. This is all breaking the game, and it's just like,
No.
people are looking at her also in context and going, sometimes she replaces Sora's. It's like, because essentially she doesn't abuse Keelan as well as Sora's does. She does almost as much skill damage as he does, but does it in fewer hits. Um, but like you compare her to the other monsters, and it's just like
Earth's a monster cesspool.
Earth is a cesspool of monsters. She is very good. There's no doubting this. But we go back to how autoloader works. Normal attacks deal 3 hits of random damage to random foes. And you look at what makes the other characters with this passive really good. And it's all based on context, right? So, let's go look at Poseidon, right?
He gets supplemental damage on crits with one of the builds.
Yeah, Poseidon. Oh wait, I don't have it in this one. Poseidon in a lot of builds has this. Wait, this isn't it either. This is a CA version. Hold on. It'll get there. I'll get there. There it is. There's this Whamdis spear that gives him 200k extra damage on every individual, 100k extra damage on every individual hit.
I will say 200k. Hold on, there's
Yeah,
something wrong here.
100k. And so uh, that's when you really get to the broken part of Poseidon. Well, one of the broken parts of Poseidon. Um, and then you go to Grimnir, right? Valentine's Grimnir. And
Well,
really,
granted, his come from skills. Let's be honest.
yeah, it's like his attacks are really good. I'm not gonna take that away from him, but really, what people get the most use out of is the fact that he gets to cast a damage skill that does at least 7 or so hits every turn. With this Ewiar's beak, like his attacks themselves, he has a decent number of synergies with characters like Summer, Anila, and things like that. But that's not what makes this character sing, right? It's 6 hits on Dazzling Flare, and then 20 on the Divine Tempest. Like sure, Grimnir is amazing against hit count based mechanics, but so all of the things that Grimnir is good against for Galleon and stuff like that, like Cucouroux can do to beat hit count in Whamdis also, or in other V2 fights. But she doesn't have the same level of like keen support that they do. Poseidon has access to Zeta in his element, where he gets the extra chaser, and supplemental on each of the chasers on his triple attacks. You can pair, Grimnir with Anila to do that. Earth doesn't have the triple attack chaser character yet, and so in context of Earth, the character's really good, but it's like she does a lot, and she works well with certain characters like Fiorito. Fiorito does great with her, or Lumberjack and things like that. But we go back to the monster cesspool.
Yeah. You know, I did give her though
What's that?
a faceless. So if she's hit, she does way more damage.
That's true. But yeah, like all of the videos of um, Cucouroux, like she's doing good damage, but she's there to support another character, like say Fiorito, who does monster damage, or like Soris does monster damage because he's much more focused into skill and supplemental. Um, like other characters do their monster damage. Like Sandalphon does what 5 hits every time he swings, with once he gets going.
Oh yeah, when he has all the wings.
hmm Dom, hold my spaghetti. Is PG harp on that grid? Not yet. I haven't bothered putting in Dartablau yet. Anyway, so yeah, all this is just to say that as soon as these things happen, then Cucouroux's value shoots way up. But for right now, this moment, she is extremely good in an element where broken apparently is the standard.
I mean, there is a character that can give her chaser though. There's
Are we
two
gonna?
characters
There's chicken. There's
who is really good
Diantha.
and gives assault mental.
Mm-hmm.
Diantha gives amplify if she's at 4 stacks.
Summer Illnot gives everyone chaser when you have the whole like I've paid 400 meter thing going. But yeah,
I don't know. I like Cucuroo. I enjoyed this reading the story for the Fate episode.
she cute.
Yeah, all three sisters.
Yeah, and there's things that she can do. She does a little bit of everything. She tanks. She does a small amount of buffing. She
She does some debuffing too. Sackable 30% a debuff resist and earth
earth
defense
down.
down. It's always nice.
hmm
And that will pretty much stay on forever.
Yeah. So there's a whole lot going on. There's a whole lot going on there. But you know, either you do everything or you're hyper focused in something, and that's sort of the state. Otherwise, you're fine. Can we talk about how this is a broom with a trigger? The
Yeah,
broom
don't
is a
worry about
gun.
it. Yeah, it's a gun.
Of course, it's a gun.
Look, I'm waiting for them to give this thing a 4-star because it has 2 attack skills and medium Solaire. So
Oh, great! Even more ways for Earth to get guaranteed crit. Yeah,
look,
Leona
we
gives
need
keen on
they need
spaghetti.
different weapons in that grid. Remember that.
hmm
Now I want guitar gun.
If we get Robert Rodriguez's Desperado, then we can get a guitar rocket launcher and guitar guns. That's obviously what I'll be asking for in the next time we get a poll of what we should
Amazing.
have a collab with. Definitely. All right. So anyway, she's really good now. There are things that can happen in the future that will have you go back to her, but right now people are
Give her more
exploring.
supplemental damage.
Right now people are also just like teaming her up with characters who've been, um, not part of the what like the usual like 3 or 4. So good for her.
Like literally, my team right now is her, Summer Matera, and Diantha. She prevents Diantha from being hit, so she can actually keep her hype.
Well, you mentioned the faceless part, so I'm probably if I actually did get her, I'd probably team her with Fiorito, and then just like play Enmity, but with Cuckoo there to keep people from falling over. Sounds fun. I'm
Yeah,
excited for it. I'm not gonna go deep for this character, but if I get her, I'll be very happy.
I went deep and I got Vane.
You got veins on veins.
I got 4 Vanes. I'm like, can I get the other character so I don't have to go through the whole spark? I went through the whole spark.
Of course you did.
I had to. I only got Vanes.
Oops, all veins. The new breakfast cereal. That's great. All right. So that is
I
it.
did uncap the weapon.
That is it for this week, friends. We will see you next week. Next week we will know what the next story event is. We will have Lunaloo 5-star, or at least we should, or 5-star. And I don't know what else. I think that'll be the main thing we'll be talking about is the new story event and Lunaloo 5-star. But
Do you want to talk about how I'm enjoying the small Halloween snippets that we've been getting?
the little Halloween stories for this. So let's see here. It's under story, other. No, it's under events, other events, trick or treat. Trick or Treat 2021. So, random note, people were able to find out that it was Cucuroo and Vane early because of this banner. That's a small oopsie. But yeah,
Yeah.
these mini skits have been pretty fun. You start with like Wolf, Rennie, and um, Haselia.
Hasekatse.
Yeah, Hasekatse just talking about like how to hide your true face from people and be polite. Um, the
Alex
this
apparently never seen a ghost.
even though there's one in the crew.
Literally a ghost in the crew.
Then we have a freaking weasel with a pumpkin hat.
It's cute.
Every time that I see Leonora content, I check with our friend over at Games and ask, it's like, this is you, isn't it? The one, like, people joke about this where it's like there has to be just like one and possibly exactly one member of the GBF team who's a fan of certain characters, like Joel, right? Where it's like Joel's story content is the worst story that GBF has ever run, which is the Freeze.
The freeze.
But Joel himself like gets love in the most random places in like staff art books and things like that. And so every time like the Joel fans, and there are dozens of them, will like get their Joel snippet and they'll just go nuts and like, thank you, that one GBF staff member who likes Joel.
Like, Leonora only has an R. Joel only got his SR.
Yeah. There are dozens of Joel fans, and there's like at least a handful of Leonora fans. There might be just the one Leonora fan, but at least that one fan we can confirm is on staff. Alright. Anyway, so like I said, enjoy the Gin Tama collab. I am certainly satisfied with this and hopeful that when they do this next year, the collab is just as wild as Bobo 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 and Gin Tama. And admittedly, that's an amazingly high bar.
I mean, you literally went from two gags.
What Shonen Jump comedy is left? Like Roboco is too small. Kochi Kame, that's basically like getting a collab with The Simpsons.
I have no idea I have lost track of what collabs we were ever actually getting nowadays. So
It's true. We've gotten 3 Shonen Jump ones in a row though. And then before that it was Shadowverse the anime.
look,
All right.
Shadowverse is fun. All right.
Shadowba is Tanoshi. And with that, everybody, thanks for joining us and hanging out for tonight. We'll see you next week. We'll be flush with Lunaloo content. Thanks for joining me, DJ. Check us out on twitter.com/Granblue_EN or the YouTube VOD where we have a lot of our archives on there now. Thanks for actually saving this. I was always too lazy to save this.
As long as last week's not put up because that was a nothing week.
It counts as an episode. We numbered it and everything, DJ.
You titled it.
The title was longer than the episode.
It wasn't though. We actually spent like a minute.
Oh. All right. Anyway, good night, guys.
All right, later.